Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and here at Invisible Condition, we want everybody with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt, you do have a voice, you have a community, you are never, ever alone. And also, in that same vein, here on Invisible Condition, now we get it. Okay. We know that life can be tough. Hey, I know that just as well as the next person. Okay. At the same time, we also know that there is always hope. Always. So join us. If it's been a minute since you've experienced hope, join us. We live there. We live in hope around here. So join us, won't you? So I want to talk about a couple things real quick before we bring on our guest. I want to tell you about our nonprofit arm of Invisible Condition. It is called Hydro with Hope. And Hydro with Hope was established a few years ago in order to help people that have been diagnosed with the condition that I was born with, which is called hydrocephalus, which is most commonly treated in one way or another with brain surgery, which can make it really interesting in the life of that person with hydrocephalus and their family. So I've had 7 brain surgeries so far, 4 in my childhood, or 3 in my childhood, and 4 in the last 10 years or so. And so it's been a wild ride. And I'm an adult. You know, there's kids out there that are experiencing this, and it can be really life altering. And so we want to walk alongside those families and offer them resources. One of our resources is a journal that we created to walk people through that terrifying moment of, holy cow, we got to have what kind of surgery again, you know, and all the things that come with that. And so not to mention, you know, one-on-one time with some of these families and speaking about it and telling our story. And so anyway, the point is this. Our mission has grown larger than our income. And so I am expanding our board, and we are doing everything we can to grow at the pace of our vision. And so if you know somebody that would be an amazing board member to join us in this mission, I'd love to meet them. Email me at invisiblecondition@e360tv.com. Also, if you'd like to donate, hydrowithhope.com. At the same, and then along with that, we have you'll see commercials during the show. You'll see sponsors during the show. If you love what we're doing and you want to present your mission, your product, your service to our audience, man, shoot me an email too, because I would love to talk to you about that. I'm actually going to be launching a new show later in the year, or possibly early 2026, called 6 Degrees of Impact. That's going to be an amazing show that I can't wait to tell you more about at a later date. 6 Degrees of Impact is also looking for sponsors and advertisers. So I'd love to have a conversation with you. So, all right, here we go. That is enough of that. So, all right, I have a guest that I can't wait for you to meet. Kerry Blaser describes the past 10 years as treacherous and exhilarating, and a treacherous and exhilarating roller coaster ride, including the death of her mother and an attempted suicide. If that's not a roller coaster ride, I'm not sure what is. However, she also learned how to transform her emotional wounds into personal wisdom from many shamans, psychologists, just all over the place. Lots of health professionals helped her along that way. And she is now a shaman, a mother, and the author of My Inner Heroine, Exploring Feminine Pain. So it's a book which takes the reader on a journey with Kerry as she learns to rise above the trauma in her childhood. And it's a great book. I can't wait for us to talk about it and for you to get a copy. And let's kick this off. Let's get Kerry on here. And it's enough stalling. Come on. There we go. Hey, Kerry, thank you so much for being here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, thanks for having. I love how you said we live in hope here. I'm like, I want to hang out. How
right?
can I move in? Let's go.
Come on. What could that possibly be bad, right? I mean,
Right. Like
if you don't
love.
have hope, you're almost dead in the water already, man. Come join us.
Right.
So
Totally. Love me some hope.
well, then you're gonna love the first question I asked you. So I always ask this first to kick
Okay.
off the show because I always love to hear the answer. There's no wrong answer.
Mm,
It's always awesome. Everybody, especially on this show, everybody in life, especially everybody on this show with invisible conditions they've lived with, gone through, in your toughest time dealing with all of it, how do you maintain hope?
wow. That's what I had to learn. That's what I had to learn to do.
Right?
Because previous to 10 years ago, it seemed to me that life was just a valley of darkness. I had 35 years of debilitating lower back pain that I didn't know how to get rid of. I didn't know how to stop the anxiety. I didn't know how to stop the depression. I didn't know how to be a better mother. I didn't know how to stop the failed relationships. I didn't know. And because I just was so in my pain, I couldn't see the light. But then my mom passed away on my 45th birthday on that exact day. And my intuition told me that I needed to accept my psychic gifts and I needed to heal from my childhood trauma. And there was my hope. That was 10 years ago. I just turned 55 in June.
Yes. Well, happy birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
It's been that's cool.
Hmm.
55. Okay. Well, keep doing what you're doing. I never would have, come on. Would anybody watching, come on.
Okay, I'll tell and this is the thing. I have excess collagen because I'm hypermobile. You can see behind the green, my thumb. And when I was 16, the cops pulled me over, not because I was driving badly, just to be sure that I was old enough to drive. So I've always looked young, and yes, I have lots of gray hair. I've hair thinning. I promise. If you look on my website, you can see the gray. And so yeah.
That's awesome. Without the beard, I think there's not a lot of gray, just a little bit of gray here. But if I didn't have this beard, I'd probably be in the same boat. People would be like, "What's going on?"
Look really young.
Oh,
welcome. Get
it's
rid
not
of
a
the
terrible
beard,
problem.
for your wife. Do it up.
I mean, it's not a terrible problem to have. I mean, seriously,
No.
I'm not going to complain. I'm not, don't send me hate mail, everybody. I'm not complaining about it. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Speaking of audiences, let me just throw this out here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for engaging. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please chime in, man. If Kerry says something that you're like, light bulb, or no, I don't agree with that at all, or whatever, just throw a comment in there and we can have a conversation, and at the same time, this QR code will go to her website and then you can get in touch with her that way. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you on the website?
So the website, you can have access to my email address, support@kerryblaser.com. You also have links to my socials there, Instagram, and I'm on YouTube. I'm on, I have a new PR manager putting me on everything. So, I'm getting out there. But yeah, the website would be the best place to find me or send me an email. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. PR manager. That's fancy.
I know. I'm getting fancy over here. I'm getting fancy,
Whew. Man, I aspire to get that fancy. That's fantastic. We might have to talk later about that.
He's wonderful. So here's trust the process, right? Trust is part of the wisdom in my book. He has the same birthday as my older daughter who did this piece of artwork. That's my son and my other daughter, and that's my mom. So I have, the family with me. And and he's also an engineer. He has a college degree in engineering, just like all the men in my family. And he's a middle child like my older daughter. So my older daughter just did the photographs that are on my website. She's like, well, how do I know I'm going to get along with him? I'm like, well, his resume is same birthday as yours. He's an engineer just like your man. He's a middle child like you and your man. What more do you need to know?
Right?
So it was meant to be. Yeah.
I love that you said trust the process. And this is going to sound random, but we were it'll come around, I promise. We were just in Vegas about a week ago for about 5 or 6 days with our business coach, and one of his other people that works with him, her name's Demi, and she actually has she's been with him longer than we have, and she was kind of stubborn at the beginning and stuff, and like trust the process was like her mantra. Like she's like she has to, so she literally tattooed it on her arm, like trust the process.
Oh wow,
yeah. She's like, this is a permanent part of me now, because it's true. You trust the process is important. You can't like I'm a I come from kind of a biblical perspective in my life and our family's life. And so there's a verse in the Bible that's talking about, a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. You can't trust the process unless it's a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. It can't be a 5,000 lumen flashlight to your feet and a spotlight to light up the next 10 miles. Otherwise you wouldn't trust the process. It's got to be step by step. Right. So yeah, I love that. I love that phrase. So anyway,
every day.
Right, exactly. Right, every single day. So I'm serious. I'm very curious about the book, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay. Just share with us a little bit about the kind of how you got here. The childhood and the multiple divorces and the emotional. I mean, just all the things in your childhood that kind of made you who you are.
Yeah. So I had a traumatic childhood because my parents hadn't healed from their trauma. My dad's parents got divorced in the 50s and then got remarried when my grandma got pregnant with another man's son. Oof. And but my grandpa, when he moved to Phoenix and started Mason Mart, which is anyone lives in Arizona, like does construction will know Mason Mart and be like, whoa, that's your grandpa, because it's Swiss German. So the quality is like double German. It's like double perfect. Nice. Okay. So all my uncles, my dad had 3 brothers, all in the business, all double perfect like that. But then there's problems at home. So my grandma used to like put on my youngest uncle's tennis shoes when he was, in the recliner as a teenager and bring him food and serve him, like that codependent. That's the my dad came out of, a dad who is like workaholic, works extremely hard, very successful at work, and then a mom who's super codependent. Okay. And so then there's the problems. Then my mom came from her own, challenges in her family. My grandma got pregnant at 16 and gave birth to the kid, destroyed the birth records. And my great grandma, who made this quilt that I'm sitting on, raised her as her own. My grandma lived into her 80s and never told her daughter that she's not her sister. And they talked all the time. Okay. Like, so, and then my mom was engaged 4 times in the 60s before she married my dad, and my dad's 10 years younger, 4 years younger than my mom.
Wow.
Okay. So, I came from trauma and, but a lot of success. Like my grandpa, look up Mason Mart in Arizona. When I went in there about 5 years ago and a national brand had bought it, they were unable to change the name in that one location, because Mason Mart has such a stellar reputation, and they were just floored that was my grandpa. Like, whoa, what? Wow. Like, yeah. So
that's amazing.
It is amazing. It's a lot to be proud of. I mean, here's a lesson. It's like, I'm grateful that I had a very hardworking family that did their best, but their best came with a lot of trauma. Okay. Well, that's human life. Right?
Yeah. Welcome to life. Yeah.
Welcome to life, people. Like, this is, no one's perfect, okay. So then that's what I was born into. And so my parents got divorced when I was 6, and they were argued about money. My dad would argue about paying my mom child support in front of me before I was 10 years old. And so I internalized that as, I don't deserve for a man to provide for me. And then
personal
my mom
value.
Had shown me that, we don't need a man in our life every day because I left your dad. Like, full feminism, setup. My mom would go out on the weekends, sexually promiscuous. She was an alcoholic, and that. And then my dad, I barely saw my dad. So and then I was raised in a very affluent town in Southern California, and I was like 15 minutes from the Bachelor Mansion on a windy road, so. Wow. I got a job at 12. I got a job at 14 that I had for 6 years, bought my own car, even though I lived in this affluent town and my dad was making 6 figures in the 80s. Like, this was my life. I had to learn I'm a Blazer. Like Blazers get up early and drive. It's Swiss German. Like you can't stop us. But this is me being me. Okay. And these are the challenges that my soul planned for me so that I can be the best version of myself. So I can bring out all of my gifts. So that's where I started. That's how everything started.
Yeah. Wow. Almost feel blown back in my chair after that. That was like, it's like
it's like, why did she attempt suicide? She's a beautiful woman who looks young, who's smart. Why did she attempt suicide? That sets the stage.
I mean, it really does, because that's a lot, having to, it doesn't sound like you had to go to work at 12, but you wanted to, right? Is it that kind of thing? Or was it just,
I was living in an apartment and my dad was arguing about paying for me.
Oh,
okay. And so then, and I had to, I bought my own car. My grandma, my mom's mom, helped me with the car.
Yeah.
The women, we bought the car. My brother built his own car with my dad.
Wow.
Do you see the
Yeah.
The separation is we're arguing. So I was with the women and my brother went with the men, and that's how a lot of times it happens. And so then I went on, I got an undergraduate degree in Chinese and religious studies and studied abroad in China. Went back to China in 93, met my ex-husband. He's Israeli. So I lived in Israel, which I never planned, but I was in Israel in the 90s, like right before Rabin was assassinated, when all the buses were blowing up, it's gnarly there. It's gnarly.
It is.
Okay.
It still is. Yeah.
Right. It still is. And so, and then I came here in 95, got married, started my master's degree in East Asian religious studies, and then got pregnant with my son. That is the most valuable piece of art in the house because he doesn't create art. So I have one. I'm like, yes, I have one. Nice. Anyone with sons will, not all men, but he loved fire and knives. He's an Eagle Scout. Okay. Art wasn't his go-to. He had other kinds of art. So, that was my setup. And then I had the 3 kids, married 10 years, got a divorce, and went to corporate America. And then, then my mom passed away on my 45th birthday, and that's when I started healing.
Whew. All right. Amazing. This is a story we don't hear very often, everybody. Seriously, this is great. This is awesome.
They haven't even heard who's in the story yet.
I know. And that's the cool part. So here's what we're gonna do. You have set us up very well. We're gonna take a break. And then in the second segment, we're gonna continue with that story. And so you don't want to miss the rest of this story. You don't want to get the setup. Yeah. Like come back, join us again. Don't worry, I'll put the QR code back up when we come back. So everybody stick around and we will see you in just a couple of minutes.
Hey everybody, Craig Tomanini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
Hey there. Every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
The Club eFit Home Portable Gym System is a groundbreaking new system that can help everyone at any fitness level. You can be the happy, fit person you always wanted to be, and Club eFit can make that happen by helping you get the body you deserve in the time you can spare. With workouts ranging from cardio, core, to total body toning, It's easy to get started. Start taking care of you today. To make the change, go to clubefit.com now.
Hey everyone, Coach Greg here from Living Empowered TV, where we help women live empowered lives through amazing guests, life hacks, mental, physical, and emotional health. See us on the Achieve Network, 12 o'clock Wednesdays Pacific time on E360 TV. Don't miss out.
Welcome back, everybody. Kerry, thank you for being here. This is cool. I kind of feel like I need to peel myself off the back wall after that first segment. That was in a good way. It's if you are just joining us, you're gonna want to go back and watch that first segment because it sets you up for what's coming next, which is the rest of the story. So with everything that we started with, where do you go from there? Like, what do you?
What happened? So what happened next, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So my mom passed away on my 45th birthday, and that's when I was called to heal. I spent the next 4 years seeing different kinds of energy healers and shamans and learning kind of universal wisdom, like trust the process. The universe is a mirror, and my shamanic gifts and my psychic gifts started to come out. Then 6 years ago, my youngest daughter, who made the son, she was 16 at the time. She developed an eating disorder. And so I was visiting her in rehab, and this was 6 years ago, April. And she blamed me for her eating disorder. Her dad was there, and basically everyone was saying, "Kerry, this is your fault." I'm like, hang on a second. We're in a dysfunctional family. I don't live alone. I don't live in a vacuum. Anyway, it was my fault. And so on the way home, I started to internalize that negativity. I had stood up for myself, but the boundary just wasn't there. And when I got home, my brain told me that my children would be better off with a dead mother than a live one. So then I took all the medications I had that I just refilled, like 120 Klonopin, like 60 to 80 Trazodone, Soma, Ambien. I don't know how I didn't die. Like, I don't know how I didn't die. Okay.
You took all of those at once.
All of those, just shoved it down, walked upstairs, laid in bed, fell asleep instantly, which is sleep has been a problem for me my whole life from all the anxiety and stuff.
Right.
And then my older daughter found me the next morning. And we were going to go see my younger daughter, and then she got me to the hospital and saved my life. And that's how that happened. And then in the hospital, so in the psych ward, there was an 18-year-old girl. And so our souls plan our lives to give us opportunities to improve. So our souls plan our lives based on our wounds. So it'll bring together like what's familiar so that we can see ourselves based on the universe as a mirror. And our neurons have mirror neurons so that we can see ourselves that way. So my soul planned my life for this young lady who's 18, eating disorder in the psych ward after being suicidal. Now she and I are healing. Do you see how that mirrors my life?
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing, right? But that's what our soul does. That's why, like, you have firefighters who, have a ton of trauma in childhood and they go into firefighting. Why? Because that's familiar. They can see themselves that way. So the last night we were sleeping in the same room, and I was standing in the room. Her mom's soul came through and gave me a message for her, and then told me her childhood nickname. So I went immediately and told her the childhood nickname we had never discussed. Her mouth was like on the floor, like,
right.
And I'm like, oh my, I did that. Me.
Whoa.
Me. Okay. And then in the middle of the night, her mom's soul came through, because I had experienced this my whole life, but this was me accepting myself and like loving those parts of myself and not going, that's not me. I can't. I'm not good. Everybody hates me. What? Not me. Right now, I'm like, oh wait, me. It's me.
Oh wait.
It's me. So So her mom's soul comes through, and I just guided her to love on her daughter. And she wanted to know, well, how do I interact with her? I said, well, if your intention is loving, then you can't go wrong, because as a soul, love is love, right? So the next morning she woke up and she had hunger cues that she hadn't had in 3 years because of the anorexia. They just shut down, and she
Yeah.
ate a whole breakfast. And I was like, okay, I
Something's
might
going
be a
on
healer.
here.
So I might maybe my soul planned the suicide attempt so I could see how much I hated myself, how deep of a valley of darkness I was actually in. Kerry, acknowledge yourself. Okay, now climb out. That's basically, and I got myself in there, so I had to get myself out. There's no one coming to rescue me. Like there's
Right.
no, here's the ladder, Kerry. Just climb out. It'll be easy. Oh no. Okay, not easy, but I needed the not easy. So I came home, and it was just like I was just like self-belief. It was like I was a snowball of self-belief, and all kinds of challenges came up, and I go over all of it in the book. And then there's 6 heroes in my book. Okay, so I'm, my inner heroine, exploring feminine pain, and then the men in my book are the heroes. Why are they the heroes? Because they mirrored my wounds back to me so I could improve myself.
Yeah.
Perfect men. None of them are, because no one's perfect, but they were perfect match for me in my wounds.
Yes.
Okay? So, and that's all that matters. My soul helped me that way. So in December of 2020, I started a conversation with the first hero, who I call Tim in the book. Okay. And I didn't even know every time I was being psychic, because 2 months later, we were having a conversation, and I asked him, "What's the name of your business?" And he didn't tell me instantly, but I heard it in my head, and I'm like, and then I said it, and he's like, and in that moment is when at 50 years old, I finally realized what I hear in my head, everybody else isn't hearing. That's how isolated and unaware I was of myself. And I was like, oh, because, then a lot of other things happened in that relationship, and I was able to see, okay, how am I processing my emotions? How am I doing this? And I came up with a lot of different strategies, but 18 months later, I was ready to help the most Googled man on the planet, Andrew Tate. That was, right. So celebrity Andrew Tate in shamanism. Okay, let's go. All right. So these men that I was attracting into my life all had multiple women. Tim, he had multiple women there. Like he had a special relationship with one of the, special relationship, right? With one of the yoga instructors, 5 feet tall, long red hair. And she would joke around sexually in class all the time to kind of advertise her side hustle as a dominatrix. And like, I'm kidding. Okay. Like Andrew Tate's involved. You got to expect some stuff like, weird stuff. Right. So, right. So Andrew, brings the party is from my perspective. Right. Okay. So we're flirting one day before class, and she didn't like it. And there's like 30 people in class, and she starts stomping dominatrix style around his mat. And he lays down, is like protecting himself from the invisible whip. And I'm like, oh, he messed up. What? Man. And immediately I'm like, I am not that messed up. There's no way. I am that. No. Right. Okay. Yes.
All right.
I was that messed up, because we had our souls even lit up for each other. 3 weeks after we started talking, we were in the parking lot of yoga. Yeah. And we're standing there, and his soul lights up, and he's Jewish. I'm like a Hanukkah bush, and he's taller than me. And I'm, like a Christmas tree, and I become shorter. And I'm like, and he's looking the same, because I never experienced that before, and I haven't experienced it since. So it was really special for the two of us. Like that's how connected we were. That's how much we wanted to show each other how important we are to each other. We couldn't say it, but our souls could express it that way.
Right.
It was incredible.
Nice.
And then so he had multiple women, and I never went on a date with any of these men, because I'm sexually repressed. So I attract sexually overexpressed, but then there's where the balance can come into play. Right. So I didn't understand Tim, and this was June of 2022, and he had left yoga to join the yoga instructor's new yoga studio. So I wasn't seeing him. Like, what is this one man, multiple women? How can this be healthy? What is going on? Da, 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 So and I'm watching all kinds of YouTube channels trying to understand, and I'm watching Fresh and Fit, which is kind of like the red hot center of Red Pill. Like Andrew Tate used to go on there all the time. His best friend Justin Waller on there. Like it's Red Pill Center. So So I see Justin on there for the second time. My intuition's like, DM him your questions about male sexuality. I'm like, okay. Because, I'd already done a tons of I've been to the Mount Everest base camp. Like, I'd done crazy stuff. I'm like, okay.
Sure.
So I text him. He got right back to me in less than 10 minutes with a voice memo. Oh, yeah, let's connect. Let's talk. And he's 16 years younger than me. Right.
Oh,
so you see why I needed the young looking, because how else am I going to get the attention of a Justin Waller?
Right.
Who's like 6'3", multi-millionaire, super good looking, like jacked, like whoever he wants, right? So that started, and then we DM some the next 2 months, and then the Andrew's takedown started. Now, did he do it? Did he not do it? That's not my job. I don't spend time on that.
Yeah. Nope.
Not my job. My job is to show compassion and help him become more emotionally balanced. Like, that's my job. So 2 weeks after that happened, I reached out to Justin, and then I had an opportunity to help Justin and Andrew, and which I never saw coming, but trust the process, right? And I had, with Tim, my gifts had come out so much. Like on Valentine's Day of 2022. I was guided to send him a message from his dad. And the only other message I sent him from his dad happened right before Yom Kippur. And his dad wanted him to be there so they could have this special kind of healing, a Yom Kippur, which is your day of atonement, day of gratitude. In Judaism, really. And his dad would spend every day there because we had talked about it before. Every Yom Kippur, he was at the synagogue. Very important day to his dad. And Tim spoke Hebrew fluently. He knows my ex-husband. So, it was like, I was thinking, this guy's the one. Like, I thought he was the one. Like, what the heck? Not the one. So anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. So I lost my train of thought. I was helping Justin and Andrew.
Sorry, I popped the book on the screen and it totally blew it right out of your mind, didn't it?
It did. It's okay. So let me get back to Justin and Andrew. So I had an opportunity, to help. Oh, right. This is what I was going to say. So in Valentine's Day of 2022, Tim's dad asked me to give Tim a message saying he loved him and how strong he is and how much he believed in him and everything. I'm like, okay, it had nothing since Yom Kippur, but I'll get the message.
Sure.
And then 2 days later, on the 16th, his mom came through with her first message that I would allow to come through. Because when I connected with her the fall prior, she was screaming so much hate at her son that I wouldn't allow her to give a message. No. So I had to send her love for 5 months to help her, be able to talk to her son in an appropriate way. It's kind of like I was the sole wife. Like, oh, you're not talking to my man like that. I don't care that you're the mom. Like, I got in the middle, right? And that's what a good wife does, protects her man emotionally. And that's what I was doing. So, then I gave him some more messages. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask, this is part of what's in your book? Yes.
Yeah, it's in my book. So
you're talking
what
about
happened was
his
dad passed away on February 15th.
Oh man. Okay.
So my soul gave him a message from his dad on February 14th. And then his dad passed away on the 15th. And his mom was the first time she said, I love you, through me, on the 16th. And I found out about a week and a half later. So I knew I could do stuff. Okay. I know what I'm doing. Let's go. And so then when the whole thing with Andrew came along, my intuition started telling me all of these gnarly questions to ask him. Like, ask him, what was it? Why was it necessary for him to stomp around the globe personally screaming, I'm a man? These kind of, and who emasculated you as a child? Then he gave it up. But, I helped him. And then I was set up to help him in solitary confinement. And that really helped me see myself and how isolated I felt my whole life. Like, he started coming through in solitary confinement, and I would sit in my garage in the dark in my recliner and just talk to his soul. I'm like, why do I resonate with this man? Because I also felt that isolated, and our external reality is a reflection of our internal reality. It's one way our soul shows us ourselves. So one thing I asked him, his soul, I'm like, okay, Andrew, so you know that your external reality is a reflection of your internal reality. He's like, yeah. So from that perspective, why are you in solitary confinement? Right? Why was I resonating with a man in solitary confinement? And a couple months ago, I saw a statue that answered the question. So it's a statue of a person who's lost a child, has died. The child has died.
Yeah.
It's the head, the arms, and then the whole center is gone, and then the legs. And then you could see the ocean view through the center of the body. I'm like, I rejected so many parts of myself from my childhood, and you all understand why, that I was that internally isolated, that I felt that isolated. And Carl Jung can help us understand how this works. So one does not feel loneliness because you have no one about you. One feels loneliness because you are unable to share the parts of yourself you deem important.
Nice.
That's Andrew Tate. Like, he was canceled on social media. Whether you agree or not, he deemed it important to himself. And so that, is Justin and Andrew. And then that set me up to for 2 Fire Academy instructors that I met at yoga as well.
There you go.
And then, I kept healing with them. And that brought me to my first enlightenment experience, which was in March of 2024.
And this is all part of your book, right? I mean, you spell all this out in your book, and where can people get that? So
the book, it's on Amazon. You can get it on, Barnes and Noble. There's a link on my website, buy my book. And so there's a few places to get it. Yeah.
Nice. And is that, when did that release?
Just April of this year.
Just April of this year. I can't remember if you said that already or not, but I
didn't.
Just making sure I got that out there. So it's relatively new out there.
Yeah, it's really new. Yeah, and
Nice.
I'm working on a film adaptation. I'm working on getting traditionally published. I met with my first producer, and so that was exciting. But yeah.
Nice. So get out there and it's obviously on your website.
Yeah.
Or at least a link to point people to where they can get it on your website. Okay. Very cool. I love that. I just wanted to make sure we put that on there so people know what they're looking for.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So right on. Well, I tell you what, we got about a minute left before we go to our last break. What, is there anything you want to do to kind of sum up that story? That was a big.
No, that all sets me up to go back to my guy from my childhood, who I call my original hero. He's a former FBI assistant special agent in charge, who's currently the head of global security at a major international company that deals with the internet. And he got that job 1 month before I reached out to Justin, and I didn't know it. Our souls have a plan. Our souls have a plan.
Nice. I love it. So basically, the moral of the story so far is trust the process.
Yes.
Because you never know what's getting lined up for you here, and here. Right? That's that's holy smokes. Yeah. Well, and that kind of reminds me of the show that I'm getting ready to launch in the beginning of 2026, which I think we should. Maybe we could talk about that too later after the show, but it's called 6 Degrees of Impact, and so that kind of story is fascinating to me with that kind of thing. So it's everybody's got a 6 degree story, and I'm sure that's just one of yours, right?
Yeah.
So Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna go to one last break,
okay,
and then so don't go anywhere. Stick around. You heard this segment. The first segment was awesome. You're not going to want to miss the last part of the show. So stick around. Do not go anywhere. And we will see you in just a couple of minutes.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
Tired of losing cell service in dead zones? Concerned about connectivity in emergencies? There is now an answer. Introducing the Love Pod. The world's first affordable encrypted global internet Wi-Fi hotspot connects with multiple service carrier networks and is satellite assisted when no service carrier networks are available. So it works virtually anytime, anywhere. Connect up to 9 devices, like our cell phone, laptop, desktop, TV, security cam, and more. Stream, chat, text, download, and make phone calls, all with no roaming fees. With mesh capability, the Love Pods will grow in strength and speed with each new pod activated to create a private terrestrial-based intranet called Love Global Network. The Love Pods are dual blockchain encrypted with Love's proprietary 2048-bit cube chain encryption, giving you the ultimate protection in data privacy and security against digital attacks and hacks to your devices. You are no longer tracked, and your data is never sold. Get the Love Pod, your private, encrypted, portable global internet Wi-Fi hotspot, and stay safe and stay connected.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
So I chuckle every time with that guy, Greg. Come on,
Oh,
you know, I
come
know.
on. I loved it. It was so great. Like, I want to go.
I love playing his promo every time, man. I want to meet that guy someday.
Yeah, totally.
He seems really cool. Anyway, so yeah, tune into his show too. Tune into ours, but tune into his too. It's fun. Awesome. All right, so we have about 10 or 11 minutes in this segment. So how do we want to wrap this story up? What are we talking about next?
Okay, so one thing I didn't mention in my childhood was that I met who I call my original hero in the book. And we may have interacted in elementary school, but my memories are terrible. But I remember high school. And so high school was 2,000 kids. He was ASB president, multiple sport varsity letterman, looked like Adonis. I kid you not. I was a strong young woman to say no to that man. Strength was abound. Okay. Just say, okay. But here's the thing, and so he kept trying to talk to me, but I, in my childhood trauma, was trying to protect myself all the time from all the things I'm experiencing at home. I had no idea how to be healthy in my femininity. He came from a conservative family, a Mormon family. He's in Boy Scouts, and I'm out working. Like, opposites doesn't even, like, we were, you put 2,000 kids between us, that probably wasn't enough. Like, opposites, right?
Yeah.
So, but he wanted to talk to me, and I wouldn't give him an opening. And I am 14, hadn't started my period yet. And so he was a water polo player. And I know now water polo players, well, those are the players. Like, that's the captain of the players, is like water polo team. Okay. So the most good looking, most popular senior in him, because he was just 2 years older than me, so he was a junior, come up to me, and the senior's like, I want to introduce you to, I call him Jared in the book. I want to introduce Jared. Jared's really nice. And I'm like, are you punking me? Where's the camera? It came out of me because the fear was like, that guy's nice. Are you what? And I, like, don't ever talk to me. Like, I walk away. Right. It was a week or so, few weeks later, and I was consistent. No. And he's trying to get in, he's the one moving, and I'm the one with the consistent. Then a girl, 14-year-old girl, a freshman like me, a Mormon girl, brought him a picnic lunch. And I'm like,
all right,
that's claiming a man, right? It's like, okay, hang on a second. And I'm not saying I thought this at 14. I'm kind of looking back now, but like, I was in my masculine because I had trauma, and then men, and then we attract in our opposite. Like I told you, the with Tim and the dominatrix story, like, if you're attracted to each other, you're equally messed up. I'm just sorry to tell you, that's just truth. Okay. That's why you have equal amount of wounds. So like, you're so into me that you need the most popular senior of 2,000 kids to help you talk to me, and now you're over with her. Okay, I went and got a job. You understand? Like, I was so in my masculine that it would have been dangerous. I didn't think about it, but looking back now, it would have been dangerous. I had pictures of him, my yearbook, like him jumping on people and doing this, and he's over here and over here and over here, and I'm like, no. That would have been dangerous for both of us. So I'm really grateful that I said no. And then and then I haven't seen him in 40 years. And last fall, he came through during my first enlightenment experience last year in March. And then that showed me that I don't value my femininity. I don't value my ability to create human life. And I had to like sort through all of that. And then in the fall, I was finally ready to reach out to him. My intuition's like, oh yeah, reach out to Jared. I'm like, really? What? Huh? What? Okay, whatever. Even though I had a picture of him in my phone to remind me what kind of men are attracted to me. So
there
then
you go.
I went through all the healing and everything that happened, and I found his job, and I was like, all these texts came out of me that, oh, you're the feminine calling in your masculine, pair bonding, and I'm like, he's married. Like, what do you want? What do you want from me? Like, how am I gonna what?
Yeah, we're not doing that.
And then I kept going in and out of enlightenment to receive wisdom and then release catastrophic fears. Enlightenment is an emotion. And it resonates so high. It's the most transformative emotion. And that's where we, transform ourselves, okay, yes, wisdom, get rid of the fears and, embody the wisdom. And that's what this process is. And so my book, I detail how I had so many fear of men, fear of being sexually assaulted, and how I addressed that, with Jared last fall. And I was able to, receive profound wisdom about how masculine and feminine souls are created that helped me understand so much more. And then I finished up my book and got it out, but that's kind of it. And was able to ask questions like, was I working in lockstep with the FBI on Andrew Tate? I haven't talked to anybody yet. Like, I'm not talking to these men. But that is, all of these men have a hard time communicating, and that's why I talk to their souls. So I would see the three men at yoga and then go home and have all the arguments with their souls and then go back and see them in yoga. Like, that makes it safe for everybody, right? Because like the firefighters 164, 167, there was no like, I'm not going to argue with a fire captain publicly. Like, that's disrespectful, right? So I did it at home in my garage, screaming at souls. But that's my story. Yeah.
Well, and so it's cool because this is just the most amazing illustration that not all invisible things stay visible, right? So like there's an invisible condition there that you had to deal with in your childhood and growing up, and it impacted you, obviously, but it didn't wreck you. And so how do you now, and we got about 5 minutes left, but how do you now use all of that you've learned to take care of yourself and do it differently than you would have? Like, you've broken the cycle, now you're doing it different.
So I lean on the wisdom. I lean on the laws of physics. The laws of physics help me so much. Like, the laws of physics explain why the hills and valleys are necessary in life. Yep. So here's a 2-ball experiment. So there's 2 balls, identical balls, and one track is slightly downhill and one track has hills and valleys. So the tracks are the same distance, but the distance traveled on the hills and valleys track is technically longer due to the hills and valleys. Which ball reaches the finish line first?
I think logically you would say the straight line, baby, just right through.
But that's not laws of physics. So laws of physics, the hills and valleys one wins, and the more hills and valleys you put on the track, the faster the ball goes, because the momentum and the inertia propulsion gained from the downhill is what gets you to the next mountaintop. Like, if you want to get to the top of Mount Everest, and I've been to the base camp, like, I could barely breathe at 18,000 feet, let alone get to the top. Like, forget it, right? How much of a valley of darkness for the training do you have to go through? So the valley of darkness is the training ground to figure out how to unearth more self-belief, more self-confidence from our subconscious, from our shadow, and then utilize that to climb our next mountain. And that's how we turn wounds to wisdom. So in order for me to experience enlightenment, which is the ultimate wisdom, I had to take on an equal amount of wounds.
Yes.
So this is why, lifetime after lifetime, our souls gradually, slowly but surely figure out how to take on more emotional wounds so we can keep expanding our emotional range to eventually include enlightenment. And I have a master's degree in East Asian religious studies. No one ever taught me enlightenment is an emotion. I figured that out on my own after I experienced it. And my kids are like, Mom, are you crazy? What happened to you? Like, are you sure? I had to figure it out and teach my kids. Then I use this Carl Jung quote, which is
right.
Says that one does not become enlightened by imagining beings of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And there's the 2-ball experiment. 2-ball experiments also shown in this Winston Churchill quote I have at the end of my book. It is said that famous men are often the product of an unhappy childhood. Okay, there's the hills and valleys. And so Andrew Tate took on a lot of hills and valleys for his own benefit and everyone else's benefit. Like, I learned from Andrew that my voice is louder than his. I'm like, oh, I better get on some podcasts. But that gives me the confidence. Like, he was everywhere. I'm like, I gotta be more than everywhere. I gotta go farther than everywhere. Okay. I gotta figure that out, but that's the mirror.
That? Yeah.
What I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna keep working on it. But there's the mirror, right? Like the second firefighter, fire captain, 6'7", like hot, does handstands and splits at yoga, right? Day 2, after I start talking to him, I saw that I had a wound inside myself that I'm replaceable. Right? Well, that wound showed up with Jared in high school with the girl claiming him, with the picnic, showed up with all these men having multiple women. That was one way my soul found to show me that wound inside myself. And I think a lot of women have that wound, which is why they're attracted to the men who have multiple women. Because the ability to see themselves, such a, problem in today's society, the sexual promiscuity. But our souls plan our lives to show us our wounds, so we have opportunities to make the darkness conscious, like Carl Jung said. And Carl Jung, he's Swiss German. Gotta love it.
Nice, love that.
Yeah, he's all over my book. Like, if you love Carl Jung, you love my book. I have Dr. Joe Dispenza. I use neuroscience to explain, why change is an inside job from a neurological perspective. I have other psychologists. I have Dr. Gabor Mate, who is a famous family medicine practitioner who specializes in how childhood trauma impacts adults. And they're all in my book. And so, please read and reach out if you'd like to have any questions.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
One more message. I have a free 2-hour session for first responders and military, and then 50% off my services for the same group of people. So, and if this money's an issue, reach out anyway. We'll figure it out. We can do donations. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
For the first responders, military, veterans. Yeah.
And so, everything's at that QR code, everybody. Just scan away. And Kerry, thank you so much for being here and doing this and telling your story and getting out there and following what you knew, what you needed to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Stick around and we'll chat for a minute. All right. Thank you. Nice. Oops. Okay. I'm going to leave that QR code there for just a minute because you can't really read the website now. So, man, thank you for being here. This has been awesome. I always learn something new. And I'm sure people are starting to, I say that every show because it's true every single time. I learn something new and it's awesome. You never know where you're going to learn something. And so, so join us for our next show, which will be Tuesday, September 9th. And in the meantime, like, subscribe, follow, share all the things, and bring your friends. We love seeing this audience grow and benefit from all these amazing stories on the show. So see you on Tuesday, September 9th. Have an amazing day. Take care.